Do we want to tell this story? We're on live now.
By the way, everybody,
The real story behind this is I wrecked the car in preseason practice. I took the rear end off of it to bring it to Roger to put the sticker on, and I towed him the wrong way.
Damn.
so we were in the whole year with the sticker upside down.
Yeah, I noticed that. I kept saying, why is that sticker upside down? I said, they took it off, set it on the bench, and put it on there, and then they realized it was upside down. They said, forget it, let's run it.
We always laughed about it. That if you
it gets more notice
that's
anyway.
what Roger said. He said more people's going to stop wanting to read it, so.
I figured a legend car, I figured, well, eventually they're going to read it right side up. But
Yeah.
As long as it ain't me, I don't
Nah.
Hey, it could be like some of the guys we've seen, in the Cup Series and even in Nationwide Series. Some people actually put stickers on the bottom just in case.
Bobby Dean in arena racing.
Bobby Dean did it for
Sponsor needed underneath the car.
underneath the car.
He
Spent
said
more
7
time on
o'clock
the
was
roof.
the feed.
That's a good idea. Oh, goodness. Well, you got the rundown there, Matt. The rundown who we got tonight.
We have racing news with Matt Mullins, Bobby Gobble, and Roger Brim. We
And
have
Steve.
Robbie Parker and Steve. Steve, he left you off.
That's fine. That's okay.
He
Oh,
waits
that
till the
was
last
fine.
minute before I find out if he's going to be here.
Grand Stock driver Robbie Parker with us. Thanks for coming down here.
Thank
I know
you.
you came from Chesapeake,
Not that far.
not that far. Lee Ledoux, who is a Nitro Nostalgia funny car drag racer. So he's on at 7:30. Kaylee and Megan Engstrom, racing sisters driving each other crazy in the dirt racing world. This ought to be interesting.
What kind of cars?
I don't know. This is all I got. That's all,
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Robert Richardson Jr. runs Sprint Cup and Nationwide, good friend of ours. Russell Henderson, an ARCA and Camping World truck driver.
Nice.
So he'll be on at 8:15. Now, if we go by normal, half of these will call in. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. We'll find out.
Which
So-
color one of y'all two want to wear?
It don't matter. Blue's more my color.
I've noticed.
Yeah, my stuff's more red anyway.
Blind everybody, take my hat off.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you the whole story. I'm going to get in on this. Okay. Doc calls me. Bobby Gobble, friend of his, bought a Legend car. It's fine. Just come out and help him. Calls me up at about 9 o'clock. It was wet. It was wet.
Wasn't too bad.
I said, hold off. I was going to go do a tow, and I'll be out there. 9:30. Don't get a call back. Don't worry about coming out. I watered it up in the first time out.
Oh,
Yeah. It was a bad deal.
so you know where to let off now.
No. It ain't about
I
where
was
to let-
waiting for that.
It ain't about where to let off, it's where to get back on the gas.
Okay.
Yeah, we backed it in the turn 2 fence coming off.
Oh.
First time at Langley, first time in the Legend car, and
First time in a
actually, and you know what? And actually, come to find out about it, it wasn't my fault. We did break a rear axle, according to Mike Patrick. He's the one that went through the car. He found a broke rear axle, so broke rear axle, not me.
Okay.
He's a racer. He's got all kinds of excuses.
After he backed it in the wall, the
Actually,
axle broke.
he backed it into the wall. The axle broke.
Okay.
All right,
See?
That's a story and he's sticking to it.
right.
Okay.
it's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
It's always the car, never the driver.
It's
right.
always the car. Always the car. Driver never does anything wrong.
Just ask anybody. The driver.
so who actually put it on upside down?
Roger.
I go, okay, which way's top, which way's the bottom? I don't know. I think it's this way. All right, and that's where it's going.
No big deal.
No big deal. It was funny. We had a good time with it.
You got some. You got some good laughs, especially when we went to Coastal Plains. Let's see, Lonesome Pine. They got a good laugh at it. Charlotte, they got a pretty good laugh at it. So yeah, good deal.
Hey, you can always tell them we were prepared for anything.
That's right.
So you got these two. You might as well do your interview with these guys. 'Cause you
I'm
got-
going to. I'm making sure everybody's got the feed on.
Okay. Haven't even had a chance to get in the chat room yet. Either.
See, because Michelle can't even get in. She doesn't have the feed. Get on and talk to her.
Oh, here's the director.
Says I'm watching. I see a nice Tony Stewart car there.
Just a white box. No, we're here.
Another one of my buddies.
Who's that?
Thomas Ryan. One of the guys that helped me a little bit.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you see the card? See how this thing works?
Yes.
That we got to be up around in between that card. From the bottom of the card to the top of the card.
Well, you better pull this
Just
thing
hit it.
closer.
Computer's on top of it. Oh, there we go.
Okay. Put that one towards you and Steve.
Yeah.
That'll work.
That
And
sounds
then- Okay. That'll work.
Dr. Soul's new and none of that.
Okay. We're going to start out with Robbie here because you'll probably want to stick around. He might have to go. Are you going to stick around the whole show?
Yeah, I'll stick around.
All right. All right. How's it going? We got second in points, 3 wins,
All right.
and I don't know how many second places you got.
I don't even know. Quite a few.
Quite a few. 4 points separated you in first place.
10.
It ended up being 10.
Ended
at
up
the
being
end.
10, yeah.
Okay. Right there. This is your 3rd year racing. 4th year.
4th year.
4th year racing. You're going into your 5th. And we talked just a little bit before, getting the car ready for next year,
Yeah.
going after it again.
Possibly. We're going to start the season in the Grand Stock. I am looking to move up to Modified.
You are.
Yes, I am. Modified has really caught my interest this past year. I've been kind of eyeing it for the last couple years. And I'm not saying we're probably going to try and get it out there before the end of the season. Hopefully, if things work out.
If things work out. Have you got one? Or are you looking for one?
I'm looking at one right now. I've got one in mind. I've already talked to the guy that owns it. He says, anytime you're ready, come get it. So,
Do I know him?
yes, you do.
I probably know him pretty well, don't I?
In fact, I think you sat in that car,
Yep.
and that's all I'm gonna say.
We've talked about that car too, and that
Right.
is one of. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that later.
All right.
So you're possibly looking to do that, and then just staying up there.
Yeah, eventually I want to move up. I mean, I've been running basically street stock type cars ever since I've been, the 12, 13 years I've been racing. I ran 2-3 years of mini stock, and that just wasn't my deal. 4-cylinder engines, it just wasn't my thing. There's nothing wrong with it. It was fun. I had fun doing it. But I got going good, and then Langley dropped them, and went to Southampton, ran a couple years there, and then they dropped them. So I just went back to full-size cars. And that's basically all I've ever ran is, basically a street stock car.
Yeah.
And I would like to try something else different. And what really catches my attention about Modified is the lack of rules.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think everybody is looking at is, a lack of rules. They put it on an 8-inch tire,
Right?
which you'll use every bit of that tire,
Oh, yeah.
but you'll never use all that motor
Nope.
ever. And that's what that class was designed as. It was a low buck. Anybody can go in the backyard and build one and come out and race it. And it's been pretty successful so far. More builders are building them now. You pretty much got to be in tune with technology to stay up with them. But yeah, that's exactly what it's doing. They're working. I'm glad to see them growing here. It took a long time for them to catch on down here.
Yeah.
They've been around forever.
Yeah, they used to have, I remember when they had, 15, 20 cars every week when they first started it.
Yep.
And they were called, the Mid-Atlantic Modified? or
MAMTs,
something?
yeah.
That was back, they had a bunch of them then. And now you look in a magazine, every catalog you see has modified parts.
Yeah.
They run up and down the East Coast, all across the country. I mean, you could get a modified run Langley. You run anywhere in Carolina, South Carolina, all the way down to Florida, and all the way up, to New York, wherever.
Yeah, and it's pretty much the same cars.
Yeah.
You know, there might be a little bit of difference, but yeah, they're pretty much the same cars.
Yep.
The car that you're looking at actually won this year.
Yes, it did. He was told me it did.
It won this year, and it's probably the oldest modified out there, and it is the one of the most winningest modifieds.
Yeah.
Out there, and I believe they pretty much got the proof of that.
Oh yeah.
So, and it is a great car. Let me tell you, we'll off air. I'll tell you my story about it. So it was a good experience. I mean, who we're talking about is.
I know you didn't want to mess it up, so I know you kind of took it easy out there.
Well, that and with what was going on with a couple of the drivers out there.
Oh yeah. We won't go into that.
We won't go into that.
It's already been told.
But my deal was to go out and get some laps and just have a good time. His crew made it very relaxing for us, and we were able to enjoy it. We didn't have the pressure of the points. We didn't have the pressure of anything, and we got a little bit of lap. We got some seat time in it. You're gonna have to redo the seat. You're gonna have to redo the pedals.
Yeah.
Enough said.
He's tall.
Oh yeah.
He's tall.
I'm still getting cramps from it. So, but that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
That'd be a really good thing. And I've heard a lot of people are trying to do that. They're trying to move up into the modified.
I've heard a lot of our guys talking about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people talking about doing this modified. We're considering it.
Yeah, money wise, I don't see why you couldn't. I mean, it's not much more than a Grand Stock. Grand Stock has gotten expensive.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you got to spend money in a motor.
Yep.
I mean, everybody's spending money in the motors, and then the parts. It's getting hard to find the parts for these cars, so you got to buy them out of these catalogs. They're starting to stock them now.
Yep.
There's cheaper parts out there you can use, but for some reason we're still running these stock type parts instead of aftermarket.
And that's the bad part. I told somebody here not too long ago. The problem with Super Streets and Grand Stocks, it's a great class. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it. Okay. But it's a car that was intended for street use being turned into something that it wasn't initially meant to be.
Right.
It was not intended to be a race car.
That's right.
The one thing that the most famous quote I've ever heard, and it stands so true, Richard Petty won all them races in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, not because of his cars. It's because he literally had race cars.
Right.
While everybody else still had. He just knew how to take stuff, stock, and turn it into a racing part. That's why he was so good on it. It's hard to do that these days because now everybody's doing exactly the same thing on your Grand Stock.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
What are you doing, Doc?
Got a surprise guest.
Oh wow.
Oh, Truck Report Alley. No, that ain't it.
That was.
Arca driver.
No.
No, she's
Hi, Allie. How are you doing? This is Roger. You got 5 guys in here ready to talk with you.
Alright, sounds like a plan.
There you
Hey,
go.
Allie, how you doing?
That's Matt. We got Bobby. We got Robbie, and we got Steve.
Awesome.
Allie, fill us in on who you are, what you're doing, where you racing at this year.
That way we can let everybody out there know all about you.
Okay. Well, for those of you that did watch me race last couple years, been running the ARCA series, but started off, and my first race actually was a big wheel race. I was the only girl, I was 6 years old, and the first thing that sparked my interest about racing is this little freckled-faced boy, red-headed, no front teeth, stuck his tongue out at me, and did like the whole like, nah, I'm gonna beat you up, and went out there and pedaled my little butt off and beat him, and from that moment on, I was bound and determined to race any type of thing that I can get in, whether it be cars, bikes, whatever. I was on tournament race. And, started racing BMX bikes at 8 and then got into cars at 12. We built Volkswagen Scirocco and started racing the dirt track. And by that point, my dad made the mistake of telling his 14-year-old daughter all I had to do was win and he'd get me a new race car. So I went out there and thrown some dirt and got it. I won the heat and the feature and led every lap in the same night at Blues County Speedway. And came into victory lane. I was like, okay, we can go asphalt racing now. On my dad's face was probably the same look he had when I told him I was going to race at Daytona for the first time in 2008. And from there, I just kept digging. And I think my parents, their thinking was I was going to get into high school, find a boyfriend, and not want to, worry about the cars and anything like that. But not the case. I became a major gearhead and just worked my way up and really was hands-on building and setting up the cars and just didn't stop. And now here I am, 22 years old, same love for cars that I had, back then, and ready to charge on.
Cool.
So now, what's on tap for this year?
Good question. I had NECA, which is the National Electrical Contractors Association, the IBW, which is the union side of it. They came on board with me in 2006, running late models, and stayed with me all through my ARCA, series years. And back in June of this year, 2010, we had made up our mind that we were going to do another year, and was going to really try to find them work because obviously the construction industry is taking it hard in this economy. And come November, they said, we just can't do it. And obviously for racers, when the season starts in February, here you don't got any funds, and it's November, it really kind of put a halt on things. And I mentally and emotionally just crashed. That was like a big deal because my parents, they own a small commercial cleaning business, which giving me a little bit of money was a big deal. So, it just, my dreams all kind of came to a screeching halt. And it probably would, if it wasn't for my fans and my friends and family and fellow competitors and officials that said, "Allie, get your butt up and dig hard and get on that racetrack because we believe in you." And so that's what I did. I just all right. So now looking forward, I met up with Ray Hackett. They ran a little bit last year. Rick Crawford ran their truck at Kansas. He was running second. Chicago Dine until he got taken out. So I got talking to him and kind of put our heads together, and he likes my marketing side of things and the business side of me, and of course I like the racing side. So you got trucks, I'll give you my brain and we'll figure out a marketing strategy for you to put me in your truck. So that's where we are. We're looking at Daytona, and that's goal one, racing the truck at Daytona.
Nice.
So you are going to be down there this year.
Trying. Right now, about 75% sure that we're going. He kind of where we are right now is he said, "All right, I needed X amount of dollars to go racing," and we kind of came up with some of it. And the first thing I did was turn to everybody who wanted to help me and be on the track, and was like, "All right, what do we do now?" And I started this thing on Facebook and on my website with donations and things like that, and really turned to my family, friends, and fans, which were the ones who were there for me at the beginning. And it's them that's really making this happen for Daytona. And I don't think the team, I don't think Ray Hackett realized the power of the people that are grassroots and blue collar folks, and they are really propelling this whole movement for me to be in this truck at Daytona. And it's going to happen one way or another. We are going to make it happen. We will be in a truck at Daytona.
Good, but not sure after that, right?
Not sure after that, but the thing is obviously you see a lot of these people out there now in race teams and drivers and trying to make things happen. But if it takes me going out and going door to door, I will go door to door to be in that truck and and make it happen. When we started out last year, we ran Daytona. I only had 5 races, and after Daytona, I hit the pavement running and got 11 races last year. So, it's one of those things that give me a little bit, and I'm going to make it a lot. And I've always done it, and plan to do it this year.
Well, good. We wish you all the best of luck down there. and hopefully we'll get a good report that you ran really well down there.
And that's the thing. I mean, everybody keeps talking about diversity and female this and female that. And quite frankly, I'm just, I'm, like I said, grassroots, and that's not a big thing for me. But, when you got corporate America and everybody else trying to market and say that they're all for, the blue-collar working families, well, then that's where we are. My fiance and I mean, we bust do what we can to have a life, and my family does the same thing, and whether it be single parents to kids in high school getting in trouble and trying to figure out their life, that is who I am, and that's who I represent. And, so really to this point, I love being a race car. I could just be at a local track having fun, but the fact being is, there's too many American dreams right now that are getting shot down by the situation of the economy and the lack of encouragement and self-esteem from people, and it's just time that one of us make it, and it just so happens that I am the person, but the dream and the goal is everybody else behind it.
There you go.
Now, how old are you?
22.
22. Ah, boy.
22. It feels a lot older than that.
Well, you got a lot more responsibility to deal with.
Yeah, no doubt. It's not like every day a 22-year-old gets to carry, the whole American dream on the back of their back with people saying, you better be in that car, girl. And it's like, okay, now it's time to really dig deep. And I'll tell you what, for the fans of NASCAR and the fans of auto racing, when you get on TV and you see the track, that's the easiest part about it. And then the whole dragging through the mud and the emotional roller coaster and, the morning where you just want to stay in bed and not even look at the world. And there's just times you just break down because it's just a tough world. I mean, even the people in the sport, for those who followed me last year, I got to go test with Roush, so I was at a really high point, like, oh, yeah, you're going to go do this. And then, it's unfortunate that, I'm probably going to be in trouble for saying this, but, when textbooks come out and, wealthy families or, deals and business deals happen and, the talent is just overlooked. And I'm not saying I'm the world's best driver, but, you have local tracks, and those people, they just got skill, and they will never make it out of there because of, the financial situation that people are in. And it's unfortunate. So emotionally and mentally dealing with that every single day, knowing that I'm the little person, the little man of the, of this country, it's like, good Lord, help us out. I would love to be able to give back to all those local racers out there that just want to buy new tires for once. We don't get those luxuries like, some people do, and it is just a constant battle to stay afloat in this world and racing right now. And it is tough. It is a tough road.
Yeah, there's, I'll tell you what, Allie, I've been around for many years. I've met a lot of people that have got super talent. Nobody will ever see it unless somebody does a video of it and puts it on YouTube.
It's so unfortunate. Even in the ARCA series and stuff like that last year when, some people are on the racetrack, it's like, why in the world are you in a race car? You're filling up a seat with somebody out there that has real talent. And I don't know about you, but I fell in love with this sport when it was the moonshine running days, and before my time is why I fell in love with the sport. And my dream of being a race car driver was because of the Dale Earnhardts and the Fireball Roberts and Hale Yarboroughs. That is racing, and it's so tough to sit back and look at the sport and say I'm a part of it when it's just not what it needs to be. And NASCAR and all these sponsors and teams are all freaking out oh, what's the sport coming to? And it's like, look at a sport, make it racing. It's just, there's times I show up to the racetrack and it's like, am I in a circus or am I at a race? And it's frustrating, and sometimes it's like, I just need to go get in a local car and just go bang the late models or the modifieds or the four bangers or anything we could possibly do, because honestly the people that race local tracks right now are the ones that are really having fun racing, and it's unfortunate that it is to that point.
It's gotten more of a advertising media frenzy circus.
Exactly.
With the Nextel and the Nationwide and the camping world. But
it really is. It's unfortunate. Some of these drivers too. I can name a few of them that I've talked to that just want to be a superstar. Like, go be a movie star or something. You know, not fill up a seat for somebody that's really be here. Or some of these team owners, you know, when you look at a budget and they say we need X amount of money to go race, it's like, no, you don't. Where's the money going? And it's, you know, they're drying these sponsors up. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, there's nothing any of us can really do about it. And, you know, I sit back and I laugh sometimes because I don't know why, but I mean, my marketing mind is, you know, as strong as my, you know, right foot on the gas pedal. I can figure out things and analyze stuff, and it's like, it's very simple. Get back to why you're in the sport, and then you just got to learn. I mean, if it's going to be a marketing sport, then, you know, market it. And, you know, some of these people take sponsors for granted, and, you know, they got to look at their fire suits, know who they represent, and it's like, man, I mean, these people are fueling your dream, and you know, you got to give them everything that you possibly give them, because it's a tough situation right now. I mean, they're choosing to spend their money on you. And I mean, I know when I was sponsored by Nika and IBW, I mean, I represented the people who are laid off on the books of the union. And how do you go out there and go in a race car and feel comfortable about spending hundreds of thousands of dollars when they can't put food on the table for their families? And you just got to figure out ways to make it work for them and show it worthwhile. And you know, being a part of something that's greater than just going around in circles. And you know, that's what I try to do. I mean, that's why I'm sitting here like fighting to get on this racetrack at Daytona, pretty much to say, you know what, you're not going to bring me down, you're not going to break me, and I'll be here whether I gotta, you know, do whatever I gotta do. I mean, I will be here. I'm not going anywhere, and it's hard to do that now. It's, you know, it's just a bad deal.
Hey, Allie, something you tapped on just a second ago. One of the biggest things I know, because I work with getting sponsorships too for teams, that you go to some of these places and they say, you know, it's real hard for me to justify sponsoring a race team when I just laid off 50 people. And so many times you hear that, but you got to come right back to those people and say, hold it, you still advertise your business to bring people in. This is still an advertising tool. You know, because I think, now I'm going to jump track a little bit. I don't know if you covered this or not. Didn't you have something set up for donations on your website and stuff too?
I did. It's AllieOwens.com. I'm a Facebook freak. I'm just like every other person out there now. Social media is crazy, but yeah, I'm doing the donation thing. And you know what? The coolest part about that is it's not even my idea. You know, my fans were like, "How do we send money to you?" And, you know, it kills me when some people are like, I'm not going to spend money in racing, but they're still trying to get those people that support, you know, I'm just going to use me because it's my, you know, I can give you background on it, but it kills me because they're like, oh, I can't justify spending money on this. And I understand that because some teams, and I've been with some teams, it'll slap a name on the car, and that's it. But quite frankly, the racing part is not even the big deal. I mean, going around in circles with the name on the car is great, and it's fun for us, but you got to get out there, and you got to work your tail off for those sponsors to make it worthwhile, and I understand that, and it's just, you know, sometimes people need to realize that it's not racing as a whole that might, you know, turn you off, but individual people may, so you just got to, and it's sponsors right now, I believe if you get with the right team and the right driver who's motivated, wants to be in that car, that your penny will be $100 at the end of the day. And that's what it's all about. I mean, for instance, I need $35,000 to go race at Daytona. My ROI media coverage last year was $255,000 in ARCA. And everybody knows I was not the main topic. I'm not Danica. I was Allie. So, you know, it's you know, if you get with the right team and the right person, marketing in a sport is really worth the while.
Exactly.
You're cuter than Danica anyway.
I appreciate it. I choose to stay closed.
That's right. There was 4 girls that won that first race at Daytona,
Yep.
I believe it was, and they mentioned you. They mentioned I think Chrissy Wallace was one of the other ones, and Danica, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So they did mention you though, right?
Oh yeah, she was on there. Quite
Yeah.
a bit.
Yeah, I thought that's
She
what
was
it
running
was.
good.
Yeah.
I ran third the whole race, but Did you know that? Because half American.
I was watching.
To be quite honest
I
with
was
you,
looking
I don't remember if where you were or not because it was all about Danica. I couldn't even tell you who led that race, but I can almost tell you where Danica was.
I can tell you who led it was Daytona in an ARCA race, so you can guess Bobby Gerhardt.
Gerhard or Frank Kimmel. You know, I would have to go with Kimmel.
Gerhardt.
It was Gerhardt.
But
I had to look his back bumper. I know.
Yeah, Allie ran right behind him for a long time, I know.
Yeah, she's been up there.
he's tough at Daytona. Well, him and Kimmel. Kimmel runs really well on big tracks. Well, Kimmel runs.
The one I got to push up to 6th place at Talladega in 2009, and that was the funnest point in my career right there, with pushing in all the way to the front.
I remember watching
Yep.
it too.
So
Allie, ain't you from Daytona?
I am. I am
Thought so.
about 3-5 miles from the racetrack.
Cool. On track.
Yeah, I'm sitting here at my parents' house, and I had to see the racetrack, the race cars all day today, which gave me more motivation. But yeah, I'm from Daytona, grew up here. This is home. I live in Mooresville, North Carolina right now, but this will always be home. Daytona's always home.
Oh, yeah.
cool. Well, listen, Allie, we're going to let you get going here. We've got our next guest that's going to come on here. Thank your sponsors.
Hey, my sponsors right now are every, family sitting out there that has clicked on that donation button. And, whether it be $5 or $100, it's those people that are my sponsors for this. And that's huge. And I have a list of names. I won't take up your time, but they know who they are, and I certainly do. And if you are interested in doing it, we got great rewards for it. I'm putting everybody's name on the car. And we're doing garage passes, grandstands, and come be a part of this. Come live the Daytona dream. And since you guys are getting me there, I'm definitely wanting you to be a part of this and a part of our family. So I appreciate everybody that's done it and everybody who's thinking about it, and definitely you guys for having me on. It's awesome that you invited me on. And I know my timing was off. It's supposed to be next week, but
We'll still put you on next week.
Call
too.
us next week. Michelle Soriano says hi, too, by the way.
okay, all right. Hello.
Hello, okay. But, yeah, call us in next week, and we'll sit down and talk a little bit more.
Sounds like a plan. I'll talk to you then.
Thanks, Allie.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. She is a great little girl.
Oh, yeah.
But long-winded, but she is a great little girl.
You gotta
She
be.
really is.
Doing something we're not doing.
I got to give out a shout, and I got to do it right now. Facebook, Smokey's Pit Crew on Facebook. David's got it. David K. Hold on, let me make sure. David Keene has got Smokey's Pit Crew. Go sign up on it. He's got about 2,000 people on there, or 1,200 people on there. He's looking to get more. I hope you're happy with that. So,
Yeah.
Smoke did it pretty easy. Now we have, let me see if I get this right, Lee Ledoux.
Leah Pruitt Leduc.
Yeah, the last one was right. It's Leah Pruitt Leduc.
Ledoux. Okay, and
you know, like John Wayne Leduc. Well,
Ledoux. I got it. Pruitt, right?
Yep. Pruitt's the maiden name, and Leduc is my married name, but I have to keep both.
And you run Nitro Nostalgia Funny Car.
That's right. Nitro Nostalgia Funny Car in the NHRA Hot Rod Heritage Series, which is mostly on the west coast of the nation, and we have a touring circuit. And actually, my team and I, we are the 2010 NHRA Hot Rod Heritage Series champions. We won the World Championship last year as well.
Oh, well, congratulations. Now, Nostalgia Funny Cars, everybody knows what a funny car is and how it started and all that. Are you running an actual Nostalgia? Is this one from the 60s and 70s, or is this one that you guys have made to be Nostalgia?
The latter. This is definitely what you would call a modern day chassis, where it's up to date. This chassis is actually about 2.5 years old right now, but the body style, although it's new, it's a couple years old, the style is a 1972 Mach 1 Mustang. So it looks like it's a nostalgia funny car from the actual period of the 70s, but underneath, the chassis is much more improved, and, with the safety features and upgrades. Now, we haven't upgraded, the motor and blower system and fuel system to what a modern day car is. We are restricted to how it was in the 70s and the rules and the technology they had back then. But no, the chassis is what you would consider somewhat modern now.
Now, what? You're a lady, obviously. What got you into drag racing and wanting to drive?
I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of different stories, but mine is probably similar in that my dad was heavily into motorsports. He's a Bonneville Land speed racer. Didn't have any boys, just 2 daughters. I'm the youngest. And instead of going out and playing sports on the weekends, he actually helped start the NHRA Junior Drag Racing Foundation and the league, and that's what I started to do. When you are 8 years old, you're allowed to start racing about a 50-mile-an-hour junior dragster, and that's what I did the day I turned 8. I was drag racing.
And you've been doing it ever since?
Every single year ever since. This would be, I turned 23 in May, and that'll be my 15th year. So every single year, and I've worked my way up all through the ranks from junior dragsters for 8 years to blown alcohol altered, then transformed it with a funny car body on it, and then for the past 3 years been racing Knights of Nostalgia funny car, and I also have my pro NHRA funny car license, which is what I aspire to do professionally as a career and run professionally on the NHRA Full Throttle Series. So I'm making my way the ranks up. That's what I actually set out to do a long time ago. I wanted to make sure that I really, went what I think is the right way and really earn and prove yourself all the way up. So that's, I think within 15 years, I think I've been doing that.
We're sitting here, and one of the guys just went on the. Boy, that is an old looking. We just saw a picture of the nostalgia car that you run. Are you going to stay in nostalgia now?
Yes, for 2011, that's the plan. Is we're going to go out there and defend our championship within the Hot Rod Heritage Series. So we'll stay in nostalgia. We'll also run a couple IHRI races, which are pretty cool. We're going to go up to Edmonton, Canada, run in Salt Lake City, and then down to Tucson. And those races, they're called Nitro Jam. They're televised on Speed. So for us, it's really cool that a little bit of love and a little bit of television is being shined on the nostalgia funny cars.
Here's a good one for you, and I'm glad I kind of got you on there. When I ran legend cars a number of years ago, and I always got the older generation that would come up to me and say, "I remember having a car like that," and do you get that from a lot of like old timers? They come up, I remember when I saw this car running and it was a Mustang. Do you get a lot of that?
Absolutely, and I think I get it more than most because Steve Kluger, who was our team owner, actually owned the Kluger and Geiger car. That's what it says on the side of my car because that body style and that paint job was actually, in the 1970s. And so Kluger owned that car back then and he owns it now. So people do come up and say, I remember when Kluger used to run the original car, and I'm sorry for the beeping. So I do get a lot of that, but then I think it's really cool to be able to relate with the people that are my own age and kind of the younger generation who weren't there to witness it like myself and are kind of building their memories, with me at the same time, even though it is in the nostalgia. But yeah, I do get the old timers for sure.
Yeah. What?
Tell him to go back up. You keep talking.
How much horsepower are you putting out in that thing?
I'm sorry, how much time?
How much horsepower?
Oh, we've got 3,500 horsepower is what we run. So that's what we got. So it's plenty a lot. It's enough. We've had a real bad shake problem this year with shaking the tires, and quite a few times this year we actually smoked some of it. So it's just enough to handle and just enough to make the earth move. That's for sure.
Do y'all run the full quarter mile or the new rules that NHRA follows now?
This is nostalgia racing, man. We run the quarter mile.
Okay.
Now, are you guys restricted on your nitro and all that?
We're restricted in other ways. We're not restricted on nitro. We could actually run 100%. Most of the teams don't. We don't. I'm not going to say what we run.
No, that's fine.
We are restricted on our fuel pump flow side, to 21 gallons. our overdrive percentage. We're restricted on actually the downforce and aerodynamics of our bodies. The rear spoiler can't be any higher than the axle roof. We're not allowed to have side windows like the modern day cars have. So there are a couple restrictions that keep us nostalgia and then also keep us, from really breaking the speed. We, right now, the fastest mile an hour to date is 258 miles an hour in the Nostalgia Funny Car, and I believe it's a 562. So we've made really big strides actually in the last 2 years, where just a couple people were just breaking into the 5-second range.
Now, I'm sure you probably get a lot of female fans, but I'm sure there's a lot of male fans out there too. Do you ever find that somebody comes up to you and says, "You're a girl, you don't need to be doing this"? Have you ever gotten any negativity off of it?
No, probably not to my face. If anybody did, I mean, I'd probably have something right back for them. I think the closest thing to that was somebody, one of the old timers, just saying that, women, it's not that they don't belong in race cars, it's just not really used to seeing it, and if anything, he's really not used to seeing the women actually working on the cars. And he talked just about women in general, how they should be laced up a little bit more and really try and go for the marketability. Instead of, we're a lot of drivers such as myself, we really enjoy working on the car and being a part of the whole, the track and the team. And she was saying that if a girl's going to be involved, just drive and not try and do the other. But, really, I've gotten just gotten a lot of positive feedback, and people think it's really cool. And especially since we've been so successful and I've been in it so long, I think I feel like one of the guys, especially within my own team. So I'm sure there's people out there that think that, but the majority mindset is, I think, women in drag racing have really paved their way, and we're here to stay.
Do a lot of the old timers? I have not been to a drag racing event in quite a long time, but do you get a lot of the older guys that come around and the one thing I noticed about drag racing is it's like a great big family. So do you get the John Forces and the Connie Colettas and all them? Do they like hanging out with the Nostalgia group?
Oh, absolutely. Just this last year at the March meet, we had a Don Perdome, John Force, Robert Height, Tommy Hewan's been out there, and actually just recently, last Wednesday, I was at the Force shop in Yorba Linda, which is about an hour from me in California, and I was out there for a media photo shoot, and got to help on that photo shoot and see him. And I just recently dyed my hair like brown or almost black, and it took him about 5 seconds to recognize me. I was there setting up for the shoot, and he's like, I know you. Yeah, I raced for Kluger, and he's like, God damn, girl. That was you. But they really like it and enjoy it, and a lot of them, I know that if they could, if it weren't for sponsors and contracts and stuff like that they would get in one of those cars, because they are a lot of fun. Like Ron Taps was our teammate at the March meet.
Oh, nice.
He drove our team car, and he said realistically that was the most fun he had in about 4 years driving a car. And he's going 250 instead of 310 when he's doing the big cars. So just the pressure-free environment, the wholesome family that we have. I mean, the challenges of driving the car, although it's a little bit slower, there's still a lot to do in there. So I think there's a big reason why we're having a big movement in the Nostalgia series, and I think it's because a lot of people, the old timers, are coming back and supporting it, and then we also have younger generations such as myself really lifting it up as well.
Hey,
Yeah.
Leo. Hey, I've got a good comeback for you. To any guy that comes up and gives you grief, just simply say, "Hey, I don't know a guy yet that doesn't like a fast woman."
I'm sure there's something wrong with the NSDK or something. But that's true. And I think another side to it, with the Nostalgia series getting a lot bigger, where just a couple years ago, we'd be pushing for an 8-car field, or really pushing for a 16-car field, where now we have 42 entries for one event for a 16-car field, and that's turned into being really great and really big. But on the other side, it's turning a little bit more corporate, where now teams and drivers such as myself really have to come up with a strong amount of funding and sponsors to keep going. So it's no longer just a grassroots sport anymore. It's really starting to turn a little bit commercial, and I think that's what you see with anything. That's just the progression of.
You got to do a lot more to keep up, don't you?
Oh, we do. There's definitely a difference in every single race series. There's the guys that are self-made and have worked really hard to establish a company and are able to do it on their own on their race. You know, there's people like me where I invested in my education, my future, myself through college to learn how to market and market myself within communication, proposals, phone calls, you know, writing contracts and stuff like that. So that's currently what I do to be able to fund and find funding and to pretty much race car on a weekly basis.
Now, do you got any? It's nostalgia. Do you have any of the old nostalgia cars out there running with you?
You mean the actual ones? No. The safety standards and NHRA don't allow for that within the chassis modification since then. So no, they'll be out there on display, but definitely all the chassis are within at least the last 10-year period. Most of them are within the last 5 years of being built.
So in other words, a lot of old funny cars, and they're just, you know, within 10 years, like you said, and they're just kind of cycling them down into this nostalgia group and putting the old bodies on them.
Right, yeah, or like the chassis we have now is specially made for this class. You could have a modern day body, you know, racing the NHRA Professional Series, but a lot of modifications would have to be set for it, and it would probably be a lot heavier than needed. So the chassis that we use right now are specially built, made for just this series.
Okay, cool. Now, are they actually reproducing them and making them look like some of the old nostalgias out there? I mean, you got some, you know, Dom Perdome, Snake, and the Mongoose, and you know, are they making them look like these cars too?
Yes, there's some that are, you know, they're creating their own, but for sure, I believe there's a total of 3 Blue Max funny cars out there right now. Tommy Keelan, he has, I think, 3 that are being built, but those are just, I think, 2 out of the 3 are just for show. And there's a couple other ones, the Bubble Up car. Cougar and Geiger, like myself, the car I run, is,
right,
you know, like a replica of an original car. So people are recreating the cars that ran back then. Like John Ford, for instance, Robert Height built him one of his nostalgia funny cars that was called Group Force. And it's just for display, but I mean, it looks really, really cool. So
I remember that car.
yeah, that one was cool. It was right there in his lobby. Just the, you know, his 100 Wallies that he had too.
Yeah, all the Wallies he's got. I have a story. And then I got to get going. Doc's back here going, come on, we got to wrap it up. I'm from Kansas City, and I went to high school in Kansas City. The shop that I used to work at, and I didn't know until after I left, was Dickie Harrell's shop, where he built all of his cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know who Dickie Harrell is, don't you?
Oh yeah, he's a big name in drag racing.
He's a big name, but I never knew that until I left out. So I've got a little bit of drag racing ties. So.
Well, good. I have a quick question. This is actually one of my first times using a Bluetooth. I picked up a Blue Amp Bluetooth at the recent CES show, and I want to get your feedback. Does it sound clear? Does it sound like I'm on a regular phone?
You sound great.
Perfect, yeah.
Okay, awesome. I wasn't sure. I knew that they had a really good product, and you guys just confirmed that for me.
Yep. You're on the cover of Hot Rod Magazine this month?
Yes, that's right. Right in the top corner is a nice little picture of myself, and then on the inside it's about a 4-page spread just about myself and the team and what we went through this year. That's probably one of my largest media accomplishments is being in that magazine, and it's the one that's currently on the shelf right now.
That's a big one.
Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. So, if I see something interesting on the front, I'll buy it. Leah, if you're on the front, I'll buy this one. So, listen, we're going to let you go. We got our next guest coming on here, but I know you got some sponsors and you got some people to thank. Let's get them thanked.
Sure. sure, no problem. I mean, first for you guys having me on the show. My title sponsor, of course, is Deja Vu Showgirls with their Club Procrastination, and of course, Steve Kluger being able to put together an awesome team, RCD Engineering. You can check out my site, LeahPruittLeduc.com, for recent updates. Jerry Queen of Oregon and the Northwest, Irving, Right Way Blowers, are all the guys that help me out, keep me what I'm doing. So thanks for having me on, you guys, for sure, and I hope to be on pretty much throughout this season and keep you guys updated.
Okay.
Yeah, give us a call back. We'd love to talk to you again.
Okay, all right, you guys take care. Have a good one.
Thanks, Leah.
Be safe.
All right, bye-bye.
Kaylee and Megan Engstrom.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Do I got both of you on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear one voice, but I know both of them are in the background there.
Now I know. Now, are you twins?
No, I'm Megan, this is me. I'm 18 and Kaylee is 15.
It's 15. So there's a big difference here. Tell us a little bit about yourself. One of y'all. Don't fight over it. But tell us a little bit about you. Tell our listeners here about y'all.
Well, I've been racing for about 5 years as Megan, and I race a limited modified with IMCA. And I'm Kaylee. I've been racing for about 9.5 years. And I race a mini sprint right now, and I also race an outlaw kart for a guy at our track.
And now, where are you racing at?
I race at the local IMCA tracks, which is Boyd Raceway and KST.
In where?
I race my mini sprint at Cowtown, some in Oklahoma, and I race my outlaw kart at some big shows and most Cam Cartway.
Did I hear Kansas City? You guys are in Kansas City?
No, Texas. Cam
Texas.
Cartway.
I'm sorry. Okay. I apologize. And so, are we a racing family here? Did Dad get you all in it?
We actually own a track in Texas. It's a go-kart track, Cam Cartway, and we build go-karts and sell parts, Cam Karting Supply, and that's kind of how we got into it. And our dad used to race asphalt go-karts. And Kaylee actually started in asphalt, and then we kind of made the transfer to dirt.
So, and we're not running against each other yet, right?
Well, we used to, but we kind of always fought a lot. Yeah, so she had to change her car. She didn't like mine too much, so she went to a full-size car, and I ended up staying in my mini sprint.
Staying in your mini sprint.
Yeah, but it's faster, so it's okay. No, she can't handle my car, so that's...
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Knew it was coming.
We can feel the sisterly love coming on.
Oh, definitely. We're best friends.
Are you? Well, I'm glad to hear that. We're sitting here. Oh, you even got wings on them cars. We finally found some pictures of y'all.
Yeah, we got wings on there.
Now, are those they're just like what you run.
Yeah, it looks like my champ cart.
Yeah, it looks like a champ cart. But now, are they suspended or are they go-kart style rigid chassis?
Well, our go-karts are just like the chassis with little springs in them, but my mini sprint is a suspension car.
It is? Okay. That's kind of cool. We run them on a big track down here. Pro Wing Division is what we call ours. And it's a sprint,
Style.
sprint style, yeah. Go-kart, and we put a wing on it, and we do it to try to slow them down, but
Doesn't help.
they try to get around that. So,
We drive. I like mine with non-wing. I think it's better racing because you're turned sideways more. But we race ours on the quarter mile, so they get around there pretty good.
I am supposed to ask about Dirt Life.
Yeah, that's our reality show that we have going. We filmed a sizzle reel back in April, and if you YouTube Megan Engstrom or Kaylee Engstrom, that'll come up. So, and it's the Dirt Life, and it's based off of like our racing family, but the show won't be just racing. We'll have like I dance and Kaylee plays basketball, so we have that there too, where we do other things and like our drama with our track that we own and the go-kart families that race here.
So it's a little bit about everything. It's just not about you two girls. It's about your life, pretty much, right?
Yes, and just like everything that adds to it, and how our family, like that's what we do. We don't just race as a hobby. Like our income is race cars. We sell go-karts. We put on races for our income and our racing budget.
Yeah. So in other words, whatever you do, that's what lets you, whatever you sell and all that. That's how you guys have grown into racing.
Exactly, and it's definitely a difference from all the other shows out there, because those guys already have money, and we're just a family trying to make it by week to week. We don't have a cushion, pretty much. We can't wreck our cars and expect brand new ones.
Right.
So
you guys have learned the value of $1 in racing.
Oh yeah, yes, we have.
So you've moved up to B Mods, Megan, right?
Yes.
And now you're in the big car. How much of a difference has that been going from a little sprint car up into these big modifieds?
Oh man, this was my first year in it, and let's just say I'm the only girl out there, so they don't cut me any slack.
But do they race you clean, or are you getting the girl image? Oh, girls shouldn't be out here, or are they at least treating you like a racer?
They do treat me like a racer, but there is, the girl mentality where they don't want me to beat them. And, my very first race, actually, in the car, I got put in the wall because, the leader was lapping me, and the leader put me in the wall. And I think it was because I was a girl, and he just kind of wanted to show that, there was no place for me, but I came back strong and finished out the year really strong.
By the way, the Cox girls said hi to y'all.
Hi.
That was on my notes here, Come
Well,
on now.
hey, I'm back in the other room doing my thing.
Yeah, okay. All right. What's in store for this year coming up? What's everybody doing here?
I plan on trying to do good in points with IMCA, and just maybe traveling more. And as my second year, definitely expect to do better. And then just with the TV show, get the word out there. And with my racing in the mini sprint, we plan on hopefully making more big shows and just traveling more with that, instead of just staying at our local, Cowtown, Kennedale track that we always race at.
Okay, being two sisters, and now one moved up because y'all were getting into a little bit of arguments on the racetracks. How bad was it getting? What's your best story?
Well, the stories aren't really on the track. They're more off the track, and how much we would yell at each other on the way home, mainly.
Oh, God, I could see that one.
Oh, yeah.
What did you do that to me for?
Well, we always have arguments for, working on cars and who loads more and who, deserves more of what they get. And we always just fought about that for who did better and whatnot. So. But since we made the switch, it's kind of like the modified's my thing and the mini sprints are her thing. So we definitely help each other. Sometimes whenever we have a race at our track, me and Kaylee will go by ourselves to one of her races, and it'll just be me and her racing. And it definitely built a sisterly bond that we separated our cars, because I help her, she helps me, and there's no fighting anymore.
Now, your parents are still, I'm assuming your parents are still really actively involved in your racing, right?
Oh, definitely.
So, and how does here's a good one. How's your mom feel about her two little girls out there running around on dirt tracks?
Well, as you see in the video, she gets very,
It's like Madhouse.
and gets really nervous and loud. She's definitely a cheerleader.
One of our people on the chat room here wants to know ask Kaylee and Megan about beating her in go-karts. Who was the better driver?
Between me and Megan?
Yeah.
Well, no, she broke. We have an older sister too, and I definitely beat them both. Just saying. Well, you know, I have a few years of experience over Megan, but that doesn't matter because I still won.
I know who that
I
was.
still consider myself as the better driver because I taught her everything she knows now, pretty much. Yeah, and I'm better now, so I think it still counts.
Still counts.
You know what? If you'd thought about it ahead of time, you'd have had the video cameras there filming this over at y'all's end.
Yeah. I think they'd be expecting a little fist then.
I mean, if y'all are going to try to get y'all's little show thing going, you'll be finding you'll need cameras around you all the time.
We're definitely getting more used to it. We filmed a little bit a couple weekends ago. We have interest from a few networks, but we can't name names right now, but we should have something finalized in the next month.
Yeah, I know you told me one of them, and since you said you can't name names, I won't either.
Okay. Thank you.
Don't name no names. That's all right.
I'm an agent on the West Coast who's stopping the show and everything, and then our producer, Dave Jones, he's definitely helping a lot, so that's going really far. Made us really comfortable on camera and off to be able to talk to him and everything.
Being on camera is not that bad. You just pretty much got to ignore it.
That's about what it comes down to, or you get to the point where you just love to have the camera around too. I mean, there's ways to look at it to make you feel better, comfortable with it.
They catch our weird side though most of the time.
Well, that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, especially in car rides home. Oh yeah.
And car rides home.
The everyday stuff, everybody does that. You always want to try to get something different, because I mean, you go to watch like even Madhouse, and a lot of times you'll see almost the same thing happening episode to episode, and it gets old.
That's why I think that our show will be successful, because it's not just the same old racing. And you know, one week we may finish, you know, first, and then the next week we'll finish in the back, and it definitely teaches life lessons, because we don't win every week because we don't have the money to keep up all the time, and it gets really hard. And then we have our personal sports and just stuff with that.
Now, are you still doing the regular teenager girl going to the proms and dating and all that? Has racing affected that any?
Yes, I'm a senior, so and I'm on the dance team, so it kind of interferes with my dance competitions, but definitely racing comes first. And prom is coming up, so we'll see how that one goes. I'm sure they'll follow me and want to follow me on dates with the cameras, and so I guess my boyfriend will have to be able to handle that. Normally on like rainy days that races are canceled and everything, we turn to each other and I'm like, what do normal kids do on these weekends? we never get the chance to go out on weekends and just hang out and go to the movies, so we're just kind of lost whenever that happens.
This is going to be for Kaylee more, but Megan, you can jump in on this one afterwards. What do you want to do when you get older? What do you want to do when you grow up? Being, you know, you're 15, you're doing all this racing. What do you want to do?
Well, my goal is to, you know, get a ride in a sprint car, but I also work on engines and everything, so I really want to be able to, you know, use that skills that I've learned this young and be able to be a mechanic and maybe work for a racing team, or even own my own track, since, you know, we have one in our front yard.
So you don't want to go Sprint Cup? You know, you don't want to go NASCAR?
Well, I would love to, yes, if, you know, the ride came along. But for right now, I'm just looking more to the sprint car thing. But I would definitely do it if I had the ride and the money to.
Cool. What about you, Megan?
I think you know, of course I want to go as far as I can in racing, but you always have to have a backup plan. And I write for RacingSneal.com. It's a racing website, and I kind of have a blog from a driver's perspective, so people can see it from my point of view. And I would love to do maybe something in racing media or, work for a big team, something along those lines.
Oh, well, cool. So you want to stay on the local, Megan, you pretty much want to stay in the local dirt tracks and have fun and kind of go on normal life, where it sounds like Callie wants to move up a little bit.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to make NASCAR. I mean, that's definitely every driver's major goal, but in reality, it's very, very hard, and I'm going to go as far as I can in racing, as I, possibly can. So me and Kaylee do have plans, when we're older, to own our own track together, a bigger track. So, kind of our goals and later in life.
Well, cool. Kaylee, are you going to move up and run IMCA Modifieds with your sister then here next couple of years?
Well, I actually consider my car as already moved up because mine is faster than the modifieds out on. I pretty much think that I'm more moved up than she is, even though she's in a bigger car.
Are you saying that just because you got your sister on the other line?
I say it to everyone, and just looking to move up to a sprint car because I don't really like how modified drives. I would drive one, but I think I'm going to stick to my mini sprint car. She's only saying that because she got in my car and spun out 8 times. Whatever. If I got back in one, I would totally do way better. Okay.
Hey,
Just my opinion, I think.
wait until you get into a big sprint car
Yes.
and you think that modified drive's weird.
So if y'all get to the sprint cars, let's try to shoot for the Chili Bowl, compete in that.
Well,
That's this
that's
weekend.
midgets. That's this weekend,
Yeah.
too.
Haley raced at the Tulsa shootout this past, a couple weekends ago. That's, the race they run before the Chili Bowl.
Yeah, they got the 600s and the mini sprints or the micro sprints and all that's all down there
Yeah.
the weekend before, right?
Yeah, and I actually had a heat with the Chili Bowl last champion, Kevin Swindell. And I ended up beating him to win that heat, so that felt pretty good. And he even wheeled me a little on the start, but I got back at him. So
Oh, did you?
it felt pretty good.
He seems like a really good kid.
Yeah, he is.
He's not like his dad, is he?
I've never personally talked to his dad or anything. I actually love how Sammy races, and I look up to him in the midget world and sprint car world.
You'll have to talk to me off the air about that. So, but well, that's cool. Now, are you guys going back up there this weekend to watch the Chili Bowl race?
Oh man, do we wish we could. Kaylee has a basketball game and I have a dance practice for 10 hours, so fortunately we can't make it, but we wish. We want to give a shout out to our friend Rico. He's racing out there, so hopefully, Justin Melton, so hopefully they, do some damage up there.
There you go. Well, listen, we're going to let you get off here. I know you both. We'll go. I hate to do this, but we're going to start with the oldest. Know you got some sponsors, and Kaylee, get ready because you're going to have to talk about your sponsors too. Let's give them a shout out.
All right, well, let's give a shout out to the Garris Brother Napa store in Roanoke, Texas, to the mayor, Scooter Garris, thank you, and to Jerry's Bit Service in Paradise, Texas, and Kim Carding.
Kim Cardy. And now, Kaylee?
I would like to thank PSI Software, Low T, Centers of Texas, ProTech Services, and Cam Car and Supply.
Cool. Listen, you girls, stay in touch. Let us know how your season's going, and we'll have you on here later, a little bit later.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Is that Robert?
Yeah, that's Robert.
Hey, Robert, how you doing, bud?
What are y'all doing?
Man, we are having a great time here tonight.
Yeah?
Them girls are cute. We just had 2 girls on here, and they run dirt. And that would actually, it sounded like that would be a fun thing to be involved with those 2 girls. Just the way they race.
You need to get them to Langley and run a champ car one night.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I bet they would.
I would fire Sparky West for that night, because that was cute. So
So I'm telling you, that you know, Texas girls, they're down your way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what kind of cars are they running on dirt? Are they running the modifieds? Or the sprint?
One's my.
What are they running?
one's a B modified, and the other one's running like a micro sprint.
Uh-huh.
So, and one's 18 and one's 15, and it sounds like they can duke it out with the best down there,
And with each other.
Yeah.
and with each other. Yeah.
Well, what's new? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Not much, man. How you been doing?
Oh, I'm finer than a frog here, split 3 ways, man. Just had a good time for Christmas and New Year's, and spent a lot of time with friends and family. And obviously, I did a little hunting, and you know, everybody knows that I like to hunt and fish on my spare time. But I'm actually in Mooresville, North Carolina tonight. I actually fixed to hang out with the team here for a little bit and treat them to a night of fun and festivities at the local bowling alley out here. So it should be entertaining.
Hey, I meant to ask you when we were talking the other day, how long are you going to be down there? Because I was thinking about shooting down that way.
I'll be here until Saturday, and then I have to drive back to Texas for a couple of weeks at least. We had a wind tunnel date scheduled for this week, but due to the inclement weather with the snow and the ice and everything, kind of put a damper on that. So we're having to reschedule another wind tunnel date, and I'm trying to come into town for that. I've never had the opportunity to witness a wind tunnel test, but I've always seen the footage from other teams, what they show on ESPN and things of that nature. So just looking forward to for Daytona. We've got a lot of stuff going at R3 Motorsports, and just finished up our addition to our shop. We're eager to hold 2-car team if we can do it. Just right now we're talking to Coleman Presley and Alex Kennedy and some of the young guns that drove for R3 Motorsports last season, trying to get them some sponsorship lined up for the 2011 season as well.
Cool. Now, back to the question on the Saturday. You leaving like Saturday morning or Saturday evening?
Saturday morning, I believe.
Oof. All right, I'll get back with you on that. I might see if I can try to leave out early Friday, come down and visit.
Okay. Yeah, let me know.
I will.
So, were we going to do kind of like what we did last year? We're going to do a couple of cup dates, and just a few nationwide again.
Right now, it's going to be a limited nationwide series schedule, and right now the only cup race that I have lined up will be the Daytona 500 with Front Row Motorsports.
Okay, so that as of right now, that's the only ones.
Yes, sir.
Have you had a chance to test yet on the cup side down at Daytona?
No, I have not. As far as I know, the Front Row has not gone down to Daytona yet. They've been busy at the shop, assembling the new cars for the Cup Series and everything that they've made them change for the 2011 season. I don't think they had the opportunities to go down for the test. But from what I read on NASCAR.com, sounds like a lot of the drivers really like the new surface and the new racetrack. So I'm eager to get down there and see what the surface is like and race on it and see how the race is going to pan out.
Cool.
Yeah, I read a comment the other day that says that, and I forget, I think it might have been Mark Martin said that he feels that they can run that race on 2 sets of tires.
Yeah, there was tire compounds pretty hard.
Yeah.
That we should only be able, heck, I mean, Mark Martin said we should only run the whole race on 1 set of tires the way he was talking, but I don't know. I doubt anybody does that, but it sounds like be able to do it.
Them damn drivers are going to switch every second they get a chance.
You know it.
They're not buying them.
Yeah,
They're not buying them.
Yeah.
Oh God. What was that? Oh shoot! I just had something pop through.
So what else is new with Robert Richardson?
Man, just getting cabin fever, man. I'm ready to get back to the racetrack. All this
Oh yes.
cold weather and snow and ice and gloominess is about to wear me down. But
Cold.
and definitely to get ready to get back down to Daytona and then kick off this 2011 season. As far as our nationwide series program goes, really excited about what we've got going on this year. Talking to some companies right now, possibly about doing at least a half season sponsorship with myself And like I said earlier, Coleman Presley and Alex Kennedy and them are working on some things as well. So Walter Giles is back on board as crew chief this year. He came in towards the latter part of last season and really turned our program around. We started running the top 20 more consistently and
Cool.
getting better as the year came to a close. But just more eager to get back to the racetrack and see if we can pick up where we left off last year.
Now, didn't NASCAR finally bring about the rule about Cup guys and can't take?
We talked about it at the first. We talked about it at the first of the deal, right there. Racing News.
Hold it. I want to ask him how he thinks
Well,
about
yeah,
it.
that's a good one. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
About limiting the Cup guys to nationwide races?
No, they can either sign up for nationwide or Sprint Cup championship or truck. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. It makes them really. And of course, most of the Cup drivers are going to focus on running, the Cup championship because that's where their bread and butter is at. But at the same time, I'll be more eager to see what Kyle Busch is going to do. He obviously got the truck deal wrapped up this past season, and obviously he's a heck of a driver in the Nationwide Series. So I'm more eager to see what he does, if anything. Carl Edwards and all those guys, they'll probably be more focused on running the Cup Series and running for the championship in that. So,
Yeah, if it done,
for a lot of the regular drivers, as far as the point standings go at the end of the year, and where we finish, while we're racing as well. So it should be a lot better year this year as far as
because
Points wise.
if they did that last year, we'd have had Justin Allgaier as the nationwide champion.
yeah. Oh, Alligator, he's a good kid though.
Oh yeah, we've had him on a couple of times. We've talked to him at the track too a few times too.
Yeah, he's a real good kid. And if anybody deserves to have a shot at it this year, it's him. He's an awesome kid and has a great personality and has a good head on his shoulders. And, it's just, guys like him that make the the sport fun for fans to come to the racetrack and hang out with us when we come to their town. So.
Yeah, you're sitting here calling him a kid. You're only 5 minutes older than he is.
I wish I was 5 minutes older than he is, but at least I feel a lot older than he is.
What? You're 27?
28. I'll be 29 in April.
He's 23, 23, I think. 24? Yeah, he's a little bit older. He's short. But he looks a lot younger than what he actually is, I should say.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to cut him down or nothing, but he's
Don't
one of
cut him
them.
down too much.
Yeah, he's one of them guys. Well, he's one of them guys that looks like he's 16 years old, and here he is,
Yeah,
you know.
he does. He looks really young.
So yeah,
Little
scrawny
baby
little
face.
thing. Yeah.
Little baby face.
Robert, if anybody doesn't know, Robert runs Sprint nationwide, R3 Motorsports, runs for Front Row. Also, he was a
College football player?
he was a football player for Southern Methodist. He was the quarterback for Southern Methodist 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Seems like many moons ago. It's probably year 2000, 2001, somewhere in there. I was back up to Josh McCown and a guy by the name of Kellen Luker. He was a state championship quarterback out of Stephenville, Texas. But Josh McCown, went on to play in the NFL. He played for numerous teams. So pretty cool to get to see those guys and get to know them. The time that I was there at SMU, but glad that I got into racing. It's been a lot of fun, and the relationship I've created since I've been in NASCAR has really come around, in the past couple of years to help me out with the relationships that we created with some of the people at Chevrolet and various crew members, are willing to help us out at any.
Really, you'd have never met us.
Now, I know your dad. I know your dad owns a team, and I know you got a lot to do with it. But you're going to this new, and I'm still going to call it the nationwide, the COT. How has that affected your team so far this year?
Well, it's affected everybody. So it's having to spend the whole winter, building these cars from the ground up. Everybody is getting all these bare chassis, and you know, some teams are going with the older Cup chassis and building them from the ground up through that way. But most of the stuff that we have in our stable is brand new chassis, brand new bodies. Everything that's on the car is brand spanking new. So, and if you do come by the shop this week, you'll be able to see everything. But
I'm not going to make it, but I'm going to make it down there shortly. I need to go down and get a new helmet and a suit and all that. So, but and I'll hopefully you'll be down there, but I will definitely give you a call when I'm down that way.
yeah.
Roger says he's coming down. This
Yeah, I mean, the cars, you know, from the times that we got to race them last year, some racetracks they handled really well. Some racetracks, you know, it was almost like driving a truck as far as aerodynamics and, you know, things of that nature go. You know, but it's going to be a big learning curve this year still for all these teams, still trying to get used to the handling on these cars and trying to get the suspension packages where they want them and you know, get them to, you know, where they're more stable. You know, it's like when the TOT car came out for the Sprint Cup Series. All the drivers hated it, you know, but over time they've learned to adapt and what they like to, you know, put into the cars and make them handle better. So it's just the same thing what we have to go through this year in the Nationwide Series.
right? Yeah, they were skidding the left front tires there at first until they figured out what these cars wanted.
Yep.
So
I think the only team that really figured it out in the Nationwide Series was really Brad Keselowski's team. They really hit on something.
Well, I mean, a lot of the Cup teams are obviously above and
More funded.
and way ahead of the regular Nationwide Series teams because they've, you know, been dealing with similar body styles and you know, what they've been dealing with in the Sprint Cup Series, and they can somewhat translate that to the new Nationwide Series car, and the rest of us have to play catch up. So, but I believe this year will be a lot more competitive than we have been in years past, and you know, our super speedway program's always decent. I'm, you know, more eager to work on our intermediate track stuff, you know, for Charlotte, Texas, and Atlanta, and tracks of that size. Our short track program's pretty good. You know, had, you know, a couple top 15 finishes last year with Colton Presley and myself and Johnny Sauter when he ran for us at Phoenix. So some stuff's been proven to be, you know, solid equipment, you know, for guys trying to come up and make a name for themselves in the sport. But we're trying to at least try to break into the top 10 some and try to get that more consistently this year.
you kind of like doing that. I noticed that you and your team, you like taking some of these younger guys and putting them in there and kind of coaching them, as we should say. You really kind of gotten into that, haven't you?
And when I was playing football, I was always kind of the runt. You know, I was a smaller guy on the football team, and everybody was kind of, the odds were against me, you know, as soon as I started playing football. You know, I played quarterback, and everybody wanted that tall, lanky kid that can throw the ball, you know, 50 to 60 yards sitting on the ground, you know, and then here I was, you know, 5'10", 100, and, you know, 65, 170 pounds in high school. And you know, as soon as I got to college, you know, the reality of it all set in that, you know, I more than likely wasn't going to be able to play college football or make it to the NFL as a quarterback, being 5'10". So I've always been a fan of the underdog, and you know, with all these younger drivers coming from ARCA and super late models and, you know, truck series and guys trying to make a name for themselves, and they can't get a ride with, you know, some of these other Cup teams, and then in the higher end teams, you know, we're still here to bring those guys in and give them some time behind a, you know, a stock car, and, you know, let them race and get a feel for what NASCAR is all about. And we're here to help the younger generation and guys like Coleman Presley and Alex Kennedy and the guys that have been racing for us this past year. So even though we are a fairly new team, we're trying to make a name, you know, for ourselves as quick as we can.
And you've actually done that. Like you said, Coleman Presley did a really good job for y'all last year. He ran 3 or 4 of them, didn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. Coleman's a great race car driver. I believe he wrapped up the championship in the late model series. He was running all year long as well. But it's definitely been beneficial for him to have his father, you know, supporting him and having his back, you know, throughout, you know, his racing career. You know, Robert's a class act guy, and Coleman's no different. Coleman was actually at the race shop today. He came by and hung out with the guys for a little bit today, and just see what was up. So it's just good to see him and everybody else come by the race shop just to be curious and see what's happening with R3 Motorsports. So.
His dad actually just opened up a track in Kingsport, Tennessee. Track's been shut down for 7 or 8 years, and Robert's running that this year. So
Put the good names behind the places that need it.
Yep.
That's right.
So,
Okay.
listen, we're gonna make this kind of short because we are running just a touch long, as usual. But get down to Daytona and let us know when you're down there, and let's get you on like the night before or the weekend before.
Yeah, I'm pretty open as far as interviews and all that stuff go right now. So whenever you guys can squeeze me in, I'd be glad to talk with you.
Man, we'll open up a spot every week for you.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna hold you to that then.
All right, hey, no problem, Robert. You're always welcome on here.
I'm about to go in here and whip these guys with some bowling real fast, and maybe we can talk about that next week. But,
Yeah, call us next week and let us know how bad you whipped them.
yeah, I'm gonna be bowling behind my back, my legs, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that'll be cool.
But, yeah, if you guys need anything, feel free to give me a call.
All right, man, Robert, we appreciate it, and glad to have you back on here, and we'll be talking to you.
All right, guys, y'all have a good evening.
You too, thanks.
See ya.
Bye. Never a better classy guy. I mean, really,
Sounds like a good
just
guy.
down-home person and good old country boy.
Yep.
You know.
Talked to Robert back in about March of this past year, 2010, just before I started running Legends, and he used to race Legend cars and give me all kinds of advice, and so
Don't wreck.
yeah, well.
Don't back it in the wall.
Don't back it on the wall in the
That
first couple of
That
laps.
was actually, I talked to him after that happened.
After that,
Be
yeah.
careful.
And we did
in
good
pass.
after that. We didn't wreck it after that, so.
Are them things as twitchy as they look?
Yes.
Yes.
The bad part, you know what? They're not so bad on Southside. They're really great.
Yeah.
The bad part about it is when you get to Legends at Langley and like South Boston. South Boston's not so bad because the banking is kind of very helpful.
Yeah.
But like at Langley, you never know what it's going to do when you drive it into that corner.
Yeah.
You never know if it's going to push, loose. You just never know.
And it seems like it changes from lap to lap.
And it does.
Yeah.
It changes from lap to lap, and you got to have that sucker right up there on that ragged edge
Yeah.
that makes it do it. So, who do we got? Russell Henderson. Is this Russell?
Yes, sir.
How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing all right now. Just sitting around having some dinner with my teammates and co-owners.
Sounds like you all having a good time.
Oh yeah, we're having a blast down here in Daytona.
So you must be
Okay,
in
so
Daytona testing.
ARCA driver, Camping World truck driver. I hope you got some test in today, right?
Oh yeah, we got quite a few laps in today. Ended up with a few motor problems and stuff like that to kind of dampen us down a little bit. Other than that, pretty good day.
How's the new surface?
The new surface is smooth, really smooth. A lot of grip and super fast.
Yeah. How can you give us an estimate on how much faster these cars are going to be down there? How bad's the track record's going to fall?
Right now, I'm trying to say like a 47, and that's held by the number 15 car. I can't remember who was in it.
Kyle Fowler today.
I think so.
Yeah.
And then as far as drafting goes, they're getting around 200 miles an hour.
Wow.
Ooh, it's
That's pretty. That's humping for an ARCA car, isn't it?
and Daytona.
Oh yeah, there was a couple of cars that were called back to the garage for going too fast.
Oh, really?
Had to come up with a different plate. So
Oh, so that they kind of put smaller plates on them now, or?
yeah, there was a few cars that had to kind of get a smaller plate because their cars were going too fast. There was one in a single car run, and there was one in a drafting. I can't recall the numbers or anything like that, but This track is, you couldn't believe how smooth it is. It's like driving down a fresh paved highway with big old curves.
Really?
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
So, and they haven't even striped it yet either, have they?
No, sir, they haven't striped it yet. Basically, what you can follow is what you see on the wall. The stripes on the wall, you need to be up or high, down low, or by if you like coming through the tri-oval, you drop down low where you see the two stripes on the wall, stuff like that. I mean, that's what your markers are for right now.
Yeah. So, well, that's got to make it pretty interesting then.
Oh yeah, like I said, it's a super fast track, and I'll tell you what, you couldn't ask for a smoother surface.
So now, are we running? You going to run the truck series down there too?
I'm not real sure what's going to happen with that right now, because we're still looking at getting the funding together and everything, and just basically trying to get our funding together to see what we can and cannot do this year. Hopefully, we've got quite a few deals working, and hopefully we can lock them down and continue racing.
Yeah. Now, are we looking to do a full-time ARCA series?
That falls in the same category as far as ARCA goes. If the funding is there and we can get some deals locked down, we're going to try for a full series. If not, then we'll just keep racing what we can and just go on the next year.
How long you been involved in racing, Russell?
As I've been involved with racing most of my life. I've done go-karts, dirt tracks. I've worked with Camping World Truck Series teams. I've worked with ARCA teams, nationwide teams. It's just, I've been around it most of my life, and then here I am, 43.
Right. You still got that drive, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I got to get out there and do some of it myself.
Did you run it all last year with the ARCA series?
No, I didn't. I went down to Daytona testing this year so I could get approved and run some ARCA races this year. I've got some funding lined up, and I think we're going to actually start in Toledo, because I won't be able to be what they call approved for super speedways. And of course, we've got Daytona and Talladega back to back, so we'll probably start Toledo.
Start you out on a small track.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
Yeah, build up from there and get our sponsor dollars together and just get after it from there.
Well, there you go. Well, listen, we're gonna now. Who do you got sponsoring the car this year?
I've got Kentucky Buildings as the actual sponsor that helped me get me down here to testing, which will be on our truck and on the ARCA car this year.
Right.
I've got several others that I can't even mention yet because they're not actually
finalized.
They're not finalized yet, but they are. We're pretty close to getting everything finalized to run at least 9 races with each one. So hopefully we can get that done and we can try to run a full season this year.
Well, we'd like to see that. It's always good to have another driver out there and be good to us.
Yeah.
So
good. I mean, I've been wanting to do it, and my kids have done it and everything. So here I am, like I said, at 43, and just now trying to start it. So here I go.
Oh, come on. Dick Trickle won Rookie of the Year when he was 46 years old.
Pat Mullins won Rookie of the Year and
42 years old. So, yeah, I like rooting for the old guys because I'm one of them.
Yeah.
So
work on it. If I get a full season or even can run for the Rookie of the Year thing, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Give it a good run.
No, I'm gonna try. I'm teaming up with Frank Wilson and Team Wilson Driver Development and stuff like that. So we're gonna see what we can do this year and do some truck runs and some nationwide runs and go from there.
Cool. Well, listen, give a shout out. We're gonna we're just about done here. We've run over again, and I can't get our producer to think not to run over anymore.
Live with it. We went from a half-hour show to an hour show to an hour-and-a-half show to the
Uh-huh.
potentials of going to 3-hour show. After all, the last 3-hour show was your fault. So,
Well, I'd like to tell all the drivers that are out there doing the ARCA testing. Everybody's out there doing a good job. There's only been one wreck. Everybody's just basically following the rules, keeping each other safe, and I hope they continue doing that.
Yeah, ARCA's a really good series, so yeah, they'll do a good job of policing themselves.
Oh yeah,
So
there's a lot of fast cars out there, especially in the draft. So there's quite a few cars to watch out for. During the Cool Miss race for the ARCA series, and Chad McCumbie's one of them for Andy Belmont Racing. You've got the Venturinis, the cars, they're running up front. You've got Jason Bowles, who's running for Eddie Sharp. I mean, they're all good cars, and everybody's doing a good job at holding their own and staying good with that new surface.
well, good. That's good to hear. I'm glad that surface. I was a little nervous about it, to whether they could get it smooth enough and get it good enough to run it, 200 plus.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing they've done different is the yellow line is on the racing surface instead of down below like it used to be. So
Oh.
you get on that yellow line, it's a little slick and a little crazy. But other than that, the rest of the track is smooth.
Good, good. Can't tell anything from the. Is it? How do I explain it? Progress? Is it? Did they
Thank you.
progressively pave it, or are those corners?
Just straight one degree
Straight.
all the way.
Yeah, 1 degree.
Oh, it's completely redone. The whole track has been resurfaced all the way around. I mean, it's like what one of the drivers said is, he asked me if I've ever rode the Titan at Six Flags. And I was like, no, I don't do big roller coasters. He said, well, when you go into turn one, you think you've been on one. So, yeah.
Yeah, we've heard a lot. Actually, Robert Richardson was on, and he said, yeah, that place was rough, before they repaved it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's still, the bumps aren't even noticeable now unless you get real low. And if you get a little bit too low, that means you're on the yellow stripe, so you need to stay off of that.
You're right.
Other than that, it's smooth sailing all the way around.
Cool. Well, good. Well, listen, give a shout out to your sponsors, and let's let you go, because I know you said you were out with dinner with your crew. So
Yeah. Sitting here talking about what kind of options we're going to come up with here and where we're going to run and stuff. But I would like to thank Kentucky Buildings for helping me get down here to Daytona to do the ARCA testing, and Team Wilson for bringing the car down here for me to test in. Andy Hillenberg, Andy Belmont, all the team owners for, being patient with me as, from being in the way some of the times. I just want to thank everybody for being there with me.
yeah, if you talk to Andy, tell him we said hi. We've had him on the show a couple of times.
All right, I sure will.
we need to have him back on here.
Yeah, really. We always have a good time with him. We do a trivia contest, and he usually, gives tickets to whoever wins the trivia contest. Things like that.
I like Andy. So anyway, we'll let you get out of here, Russell, and go have a good time, and good luck at your test, and hopefully we'll be seeing you soon.
All right, sir, I appreciate it, and y'all have a good night.
You too.
Right, What?
So we got 20 more minutes here.
Man, I mean,
We might as well finish up to 9 o'clock.
talk. You're full of questions. I guess.
I like watching him when he gets tongue-tied and can't throw the right word
Oh
out.
man, I mean,
Somebody had Joe.
And I do, and I know that word, and it's right there, and it's just like,
at least you don't stutter. So I mean,
I try not to. I
Yeah.
really do. I try to, and I try to think of different questions.
I mean, you're just thinking away over there. Me, I'm like, I'd have to be like, I'd have to
Have to
research
write-
something and
Checklist
write it
and-
down. I'd have to be like, a reporter.
It's
used
more
to-
fun not to research.
Yeah.
It honestly it is, because you get to, Leah. I actually looked at it and was thinking, well, this is a dude.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I first saw
I
it.
did too. I didn't know it was a girl. So I mean,
I thought it
Definitely
was
was no
Lee.
dude.
it's
Lee.
definitely no dude.
Definitely.
She's married to Todd Ledoux,
Yeah.
and he is a off-road
Yep.
truck
I
series.
know him.
And I think Kyle Leduc's his brother,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken.
They've kind
I
of
could be wrong on that, but
kind of
I
run the whole off-road trucks.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Kyle's been around a long time running these suckers.
I watch them all the time.
So, and then them guys are nuts.
Now we need to get up with her to say, hey, let's get those guys on here. We'll really have
What's
some
on
fun.
there?
Steve will be here. You know that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's more fun just to kind of bullshit your way through it.
Yeah.
For lack of better words,
That's right.
you know, it makes it more fun.
And then I get to throw in little things that I know. Dirt life.
So,
Dirt Light, that was pretty neat. I hope they get it on there. That was you
Dirt
seen
Life,
that?
yeah, I'll look at it when I get home. But yeah, it looked pretty cool.
You seen Dirt Nation yet?
Yeah, yeah, or Dirt Nights.
Dirt
Light,
Nights.
yeah, the
Have you
modified.
watched it?
I watched the first one. I didn't see it last Sunday. Got caught up in football, but forgot about it. But
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty good show.
it looks pretty good.
Last Sunday's was a little bit better. It had Kelly Shyrock. It did a little bit of piece on him.
Uh-huh.
And it talked about him and Corey Drips and then that other boy that just left his team. And
Yeah.
Now,
Telesi, I can't think of his last name right now. But it's a good show. It really is.
now, you need to catch the movie Red Dirt Rising next, too.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
I'm waiting for that to come out on DVD. I'd like to get
I
one.
think when I talked to the guys last, I think they already had finally got a deal doing the DVDs.
Finally.
Yeah. I won't swear to it.
I haven't
That
seen
was
it
like-
anywhere
that was
else,
like 2 months ago,
and I don't
talked to
think
them
it ever
last.
came out in theaters around here.
Now, supposedly they were still trying to work a theater deal, too, so they may hold the DVDs to the theater deal.
Yeah,
because
I'd like to see it
They were going to different tracks, and they'd set up a big screen out
and
there
show it there.
and have about 5,000 fans watch the show there. I was trying to get them to talk to Chuck Allman, bring it down to Langley, and we get to watch it finally.
I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll definitely go.
So that'd be pretty good to see. So
Well, you missed going to the premiere, remember?
yeah, we did. Why did I go?
I screwed up my back, and you had a bunch of work you had to do, and you couldn't leave.
Yeah, that's true.
I wasn't about to drive by myself.
Work. That was down in Raleigh, wasn't it?
No. Save the Speedway one.
Wilkesboro.
Wilkesboro, yeah.
That's right. So I'd like to make it down there this year. That'd be a good track to go run.
Yeah.
It's one of the tracks I've always wanted to run on.
Yeah,
All the history of it.
They
And,
run modifieds.
yeah.
Did we get
Oh
that?
yeah, I heard they brought some big motor modifieds in for
Oh
that.
yeah. Well, I mean,
I think did Mike go to that one or Joe did?
Joe went down. Joe and Mike went down,
Yeah, I
I
know
think,
Joe's supposed to go.
and I think Joe did decent. I think Joe ended up in the top 10.
AJ Winstead was gonna go till he blew his motor up.
And he was on the list. He was there,
That's Joe
and I think he blew it
Scarborough
up
and
down there.
Mike.
Now he
Booth,
blew his
by the way.
motor. I don't know if he went, but that night he blew
He
his
went.
good motor up at Langley.
He did go. He
He
did
did.
post a time, and it was like next to last. And
He
he
may have blown the other one. He, said,
he might have blown the other one, but yeah, he blew that motor up
he
that
said the one
that
he blew at
last night.
Langley was his best piece, and that's
Yep.
what he wanted to take down.
So
Now, did probably get to talk about himself enough earlier? I mean,
I don't know. Did you?
We got going, and then we got interrupted. We can do it again. It's no problem.
We're still here.
Let's bring you back when we have
Unless you want to keep going.
no. Let's do a NASCAR. We're gonna do a
I
NASCAR
think we
night.
keep going.
We're gonna do a NASCAR night too.
Go
We're
15
gonna
minutes.
get you in
Sports
there.
grill?
Yeah, we're gonna do a sports grill night.
Yes.
Nice.
And I definitely want to get you down there. I wanted to get like all the champions in. I still want to do a champions night, and we're going to get Donnie and Joe Hendricks.
We're gonna have to try to probably do that as 12th. The 19th is already basically full.
The 12th of what?
Today.
No, today's the 12th.
Yeah.
Okay, the 19th. Then we got the 26th would be probably. I haven't got anybody scheduled 26th yet.
Well, let's set up
We might-
NASCAR Sports Grill the
we might do that
26th.
for the
We'll bring you
sports
down on the 26th, down at the
All right.
Sports Grill, and we have a great time with that
The Sports Grill or Cafe?
cafe
No, it's NASCAR.
or no or Sports Grill. I'm
It's a
sorry.
Sports Grill.
Yeah, it's Sports Grill.
I've only been there once.
We had Joe Hendricks,
Junior and senior.
junior and senior. come down. And I want to tell you what, when we got Joe Senior on there
And Walt.
and Mike Waltney, and man, we had a blast.
I'll
Had a
bet, yeah.
teetotal blast. Had Al Pierce down
That
there.
was a 55-minute spiel just right there at the very end.
Yeah.
That was our 3-hour night.
Yeah. I went there one night after arena racing, and it was just that's the only time I've ever been in there.
The food's actually pretty good.
The food was good. It was just so dark in there, I couldn't read the menu. And
Well,
we brightened it up.
I had to go up by the TV and the big screen and actually look at the little.
Yeah, they do that so you can't see the price.
Yeah, the after hours.
But yeah, we had the things back here blaring out there, and people coming in the door. It's like, oh my god!
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
But,
Say 2
All right.
weeks. That's no problem.
well, we can wind it on down then. We feel like doing some Chinese tonight.
Sure.
Hey, Matt, before we get out of here, I need to actually thank Sparky West, too, for actually joining my team.
Sparky who?
Sparky West.
Who?
who?
Yeah.
The guy you were gonna fire, right?
Yeah, well, it just depends.
I was going to say something about that. I heard that.
You know
The
what?
girls come, Sparky. You're getting fired. for that
Absolutely.
night.
Yeah, Sparky. Yeah, man, she was cute, so you'd understand. But yeah, I want to thank Sparky, and I definitely got to thank his dad. His dad stepped up to crew chief the Champ Karts this year. We just bought them recently. 2 very, very, very competitive cars. So,
Championship.
Yeah, they're championship caliber cars.
He won the
so,
championship this year with
Yes, they finished 1st and 4th or 1st and 5th, I think. So,
Yep.
2
good cars.
Sparky's actually going to drive the championship car, and I just didn't like it. I just didn't like how I felt in it. So, yeah, being the owner, you can do that. So, I like it. But, yeah, I want to thank them.
There you go, Steve. You got a ride.
Thank the sponsors, EricMcClure.com, for coming back again this year for the 2002 9th straight year. Longest running sponsor that I've ever had. Ever since my first year, he's been with me. So, and Eric's helping me do some other stuff, hopefully.
PC Doctors.
So, yeah, PC Doctors has helped us out.
Let's Talk Racing.
Yeah, Let's Talk
Upside
Racing
Down.
has definitely
Upside down,
helped.
let's talk
Yeah.
about it.
Upside down racing.
And that's been the blunt joke. You're going to have it back that way this year, too.
Hopefully, and also I picked up a new one recently. IMA Brothers Lumber Company of Kemper, Kentucky. When I went home to race the Legend car back in September,
They came on board.
they came on board with us. That's where my brother works. My dad worked there for a long time, so they came on board, helped us out, and they're coming back again this year. And they, them being in Kentucky, me being here, it's they're not going to do as much for us, but they are helping us. So everything helps.
That's all that matters.
No, you talking
Especially
about,
running 3 cars.
you talking about running the state championship too, or something like that?
We were going to run for the state championship in the Legend car for the Kentucky state championship. We had talked to some people. They had actually said that, yeah, you don't have to run in that state. Went to Charlotte and raced back in December for the Winter Heat Series, and talked to Daryl Krentz, who runs INEX, and they're changing that rule where you do have to run so many races in the state of Kentucky. So basically, we took our plans, changed them. We're going to run Langley full time and just run the Champ Karts now. We weren't going to do the Champ Kart deal, and then
You got them now. You got to do it.
well, this was before we had them. We didn't have them at the time, so we were gonna run probably 40 to 50 Legend races, and so now with us not being able to run for the state championship, we just decided to do something different, and we can be more competitive, I think, too, in the Champ Kart. My Legend stuff's pretty outdated, and so
You got a brand new chassis?
no, it ain't brand new. I promise you that. It ain't brand new. It's a former Joe Hendricks chassis that he didn't want no more. That was basically donated to me.
Yeah, but Mike went through it.
Yes, yeah. Mike Waltney did go through it, and it's a good piece, but it's a 2-bar chassis, very heavy, and these guys are running the 4 bars. It's a lot lighter than mine, so I'm about 60 pounds overweight. That's why I'm in the gym running 4 or 5 miles a day, trying to reduce some weight, compensate somewhere. So.
Run around with helium bags attached to your butt.
So yeah, that's
All I got to say, Donnie McLaughlin. Enough said.
That's true.
Enough said. Do I need to say any more?
No.
Okay.
He knows more about a Legend car than.
He helped
But
me
look
out.
how big he is.
Yeah.
But he can get him to run.
How did Donnie get in and out of that car? I never seen
He
it.
literally had a sprint car seat. He got in great.
Yeah.
Getting out.
Getting out was the problem.
No, you got out good too. I went to Manassas.
Old Dominion?
A couple years ago, and it'll take me a minute to think of his name. He billed himself as the world's largest legend driver. He was 6'7". I guarantee he weighed right at 400 pounds.
Ooh.
Wow.
A coupe, like Joe Hendricks runs, flat top coupe. This is how big he was. He literally did not have a seat. He sat on the floor.
Wow.
Okay, but he could be seat belted in, strapped in,
On the floor pan.
on the floor pan, had something for his back, and literally he had tall guys have what they call gorilla arms,
Yeah.
where they damn near hang down to their,
Yeah.
Yep.
and reach out the window of the Legend car on the front of the hood and grab his helmet. Seat belted in, Robbie.
Wow.
I first met him up at South Boston Speedway, and we went up for, can't remember what it was. Oh, it was a north-south shootout.
Yeah.
And this guy kept cutting me off. I was getting mad because I could get a good run on him coming off the corners. And finally, I finally got by him and I took off. Well, it ended up being this guy. And I was like, I'm going to go down and say something to this idiot. He is just being freaking foolish. And I swear to you, it was common practice. I walked right up, he got out of that car, and I turned right back around.
But Killer Gorilla just
but
exited the car.
the nicest guy you ever met. I can't think of his name. I was just looking at his picture the other day.
We actually had a guy come
Nicest guy you ever met.
Yeah, we had a guy come to Langley this year. And I'm not going to say any names, but he was a good sized driver. Very, very large driver. And he blowed up in the race. He was running fairly well. And I asked one of the guys that was working with me that, and I said, "Hey, man, what happened to that car?" He said, "Did you see the guy?" Yeah, he said the motor finally just decided it didn't want to pull him around no more.
He ran such a big gear up at Manassas. It was funny because I got the chance to talk to him for a
So you
little
probably
while.
had to.
But he said they've had officials up there play jokes on new officials.
Yeah.
Go up and tell that guy that he's an ass, and or something like that.
Yeah.
They don't know what the hell he looks like. So it's always been fun.
McLaughlin, he can get in the car on Thursday practice. He'll come out there. He can get in the car.
He can get in the car just fine.
Wheel that thing.
And,
He did run some Thursday practices this past year, driving Mr. Peterson's car.
Mr. Peterson's
Yeah,
car.
he's-
So.
Yeah. And I mean, he's a big guy.
He takes it out there on Thursdays. He'll let Peterson ride around in it, and then he gets in there. And,
Peterson actually bought it, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he owns
it's
the car.
Mr. Peterson's.
And then when he flipped the one, was it 2 years ago?
Last year,
Last year he flipped
2009.
09.
09. He flipped it. And I think he
Hard.
bought Don's other car. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Mr. Peterson got another car and barely ran it this year.
No,
He didn't run it at all. He ran some Thursday practices. I actually talked to Mr. Peterson one Thursday, and
He ran
said,
one or two.
No, he said
I've
that
seen him on Thursdays, and that's.
he told me that he has no desire to actually race. That he gets his racing on Thursday, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Well, he did that all, last few years. He loved coming renting the track
Yeah.
and
you know,
coming out there and playing around, and he was happy with
Yeah.
that.
he's an older guy too.
I've seen him come
older
out.
gentleman,
Come out on a Thursday, practice, park the car.
He's another, yeah,
and would run good lap times. I mean,
Clean
would
it up,
run. Yeah.
sit there and clean the car, wipe it off, put it back in the trailer.
and happy doing it.
Yep.
Yep.
It reminds me of a drag race where you just go out and play, put it back in the trailer.
Trailer.
Yeah.
Until it's
Yeah, I
time
try
to
to
Tells
do
go
to
stuff
play.
too, but the police want to write tickets.
Yeah.
So,
Jeez.
all
I'd
right,
like to
let's
thank
get out of
everybody
here.
for being here tonight, and we will see y'all next week.
I'll
See
be
ya!
see y'all in 2 weeks.
We'll get you.